Okay, well, Memorial Day weekend is just a couple of weeks away, and I don't know about you, but it's always the introduction to summer to me. I feel like when that weekend gets here, okay, it's summertime. We are ready for some summer recipes. And so today's video, I'm gonna be sharing some really fun and delicious, kind of summery side dishes. I've got a drink that's so refreshing, and then we even have a little sweet treat to share. Well, if we haven't met before, my name is Ange, welcome, and this is the Menu Made Kitchen. I think I might have shared this on last week's video, but we've had this stretch of really great weather here in Oregon, and I'm telling you, I'm ready for summer now. Do not bring me any more rain. I'm done with the rain and the cold, and I'm ready to start eating some awesome summer foods and recipes. And for our first recipe today, I thought it would be fun to start off with this sparkling strawberry lemonade. This has only 3 ingredients. It is so refreshing, and to me, this totally screams summer. It comes together in minutes, and it's just perfect for serving at any kind of barbecue or cookout, or for Memorial Day weekend if you're having people over. I think you're really going to enjoy this lemonade. Okay, so for our sparkling strawberry lemonade, really simple ingredients, and this comes together super quickly. I have a 16-ounce container of thawed frozen strawberries. I just bought these at the grocery store. You can also use fresh strawberries, but I wanted this to be really simple. And then I'm going to use a couple of cups of the Sprite just to give it that sparkliness. And then I have a 59-ounce container of lemonade, and you can use any kind of lemonade brand that you like. We also have some lemon. I wanted to use this for garnish, and then I'll probably throw in some fresh strawberries too. So we've got to get the strawberries pureed. I'm going to throw these in my blender and just blend them until they're completely smooth. All right, now that we have our strawberries blended up, I'm going to add all of the ingredients to this pitcher here. We'll give everything a stir and pop it in the refrigerator and let it chill for a bit, and then we get to taste it. Okay, check that out. Isn't that so cute? I love serving like lemonades and like punch type drinks in mason jars. I just think it looks so much fun. And then I had these cute little straws. Okay, we're gonna give it a taste. That is so refreshing. 3 ingredients. It's so fresh. I love that you can really taste the lemonade flavor, but you get that hint of strawberry in there. And I will say that the better quality lemonade, the better it's going to taste for sure. But I just love this, and having that little bit of sparkliness from the Sprite. Such a refreshing drink to kick off your summer or have during the summer when it's super hot. This is perfect for Memorial Day weekend coming up, or even just make it on a nice sunny day and share it with your family. They're going to love it. So for our slow cooker ultimate baked beans, I have to get a few veggies chopped up. I have a half of a yellow onion here, a couple of carrot sticks. You're going to want about 3/4 cup. I'm going to dice these up. And then I have some smoked turkey sausage. We'll cut this into like those little coins. And then I did not have any peppers, bell peppers, but I remembered that I had just a little bit in my freezer. So I'm going to chop this up. But you'll want about like a small little pepper. It could be green, yellow, red. So I'm going to get these veggies and the meat chopped up, and then we're going to bring over the slow cooker and add all the rest of the ingredients to that. So I've actually shared this recipe. I think I did like a shorts video. You could probably scroll down in my videos and find that video that I did. This is such a delicious recipe to make for a Memorial Day weekend, or if you're having a barbecue or a camp out. It is so delicious. It could be the main meal because there's so much going on. It's really filling and hearty. So the original recipe from years ago, they used little smoky sausages, so that works perfect as well. But I really like the turkey smoked sausage. It's our favorite. You can use any kind of brand or flavor that you like. The whole idea is just to get that smoky, kind of meaty flavor in there. And like, who does not like baked beans at a barbecue or a cookout? But these ones, they're next level, in my opinion. They're so good, and everyone will want the recipe. Trust me, you'll have people coming to you saying, I want that baked bean recipe. Okay, I've got my large slow cooker here. This is about a 6-quart. You definitely want a bigger size slow cooker to hold all of these ingredients. So we're gonna add in the veggies and the meat that we just chopped. And then we've got 1 can of black beans. I've rinsed and drained that. And then I'm gonna add a 28-ounce can of baked beans. I really like the Bush's Original. Has a little bit of brown sugar and molasses. And then we're gonna add in 1 can of green beans. These are also drained. We've got a 1/2 cup of ketchup. I also have a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Then I'm just gonna do a touch of cayenne pepper. I don't want this super spicy, but I like a little kick. All right, I'm gonna stir all these ingredients together, and then we're gonna pop the lid on, and I'll cook it about 4 or 5 hours on high. The great thing about this recipe is you can put this on in the morning and it can set on low all day long. And then when your guests arrive, it will be ready to go. Really, we're just heating the ingredients through and making sure that the sauces and all this stuff has a chance to kind of come together. I mean, obviously we have to cook the carrots, but it will become a little more liquidy and richer the longer it cooks. And then we're gonna add in 2 more ingredients, but that will be at the very end, and that's just to balance out some of the sweetness. Okay, and we will see you here in a few hours. Okay, our baked beans have finished cooking, and the other 2 ingredients I'm gonna add, I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. I'm gonna eyeball this. And then we're gonna add in 1 teaspoon of regular yellow mustard. And you're probably wondering, like, what in the world is that gonna do to this? Well, this is actually pretty sweet, and this mustard and vinegar at the very end, it just kind of balances out the sweetness and gives it a little bit of like sharpness, but in a good way. It's not a must. You can definitely make this without adding that. As a matter of fact, I have forgotten to add the vinegar and the mustard after it's cooked. It's still delicious, but it's even more delicious with it. Okay, that is finished. And we're gonna give this a taste. You know it is getting close to summer when your house smells like baked beans, because it's really the only time of year that we ever have a pot of baked beans like this. And these ones, I'm telling you, you'll be making this for a main meal because you have everything. Definitely a very filling side dish to have at a barbecue. I feel like I almost can't see you through the steam, but you probably can't see that. It's super, super hot. So much flavor. Truly the best baked beans I've ever had. But you could add, like, if you really wanted to take this up a notch, you could throw in some bacon. You can add more veggies if you want. It's the perfect thing to take to any kind of summer gathering. And like I said, we have Memorial Day weekend coming up. This would be the perfect thing to add to your menu. Okay, so for our marinated grilled chicken, this recipe is so simple, and you really are just going to be using basic pantry seasonings. You probably do not even need to go to the store for anything unless you need the chicken. So we're going to add all of our marinade into this Ziploc bag here, and then we'll add in our chicken and let it marinate. So we're going to start with a 1/4 cup of olive oil. And I'm just going to eyeball this because I've made this recipe so many times. I love making this when the weather starts to get nice and we're able to go outside and grill. Years ago, my brother still makes it, but he makes the best grilled chicken. And a long time ago, I had asked him for the recipe, and he's like, honestly, I don't even know what I put into the chicken. I just throw a bunch of seasonings in there. I make sure to have, a little bit of Worcestershire and some soy sauce. And it always just came out like perfection. And so this is kind of like my brother's barbecue chicken, only it's my own version, and I think it tastes amazing. I don't know if it tastes just like my brother's, but it's delicious and juicy and just has so much flavor. So I'm just zesting in a lime here, And then I'm also going to add in the juice. And I actually just end up throwing the lime in there with the chicken. It just gives it more flavor. So don't throw out the limes, just add it to the bag with the rest of the ingredients. And then next we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and I actually do just a little bit more. I probably should just change that on my website, but I love the flavor of soy sauce with chicken. And then we're going to do a splash of Worcestershire, just a little splash. On my website it calls for a half a teaspoon. And then we've got, I actually have some burger seasoning here. You can use any kind of steak seasoning that you have on hand. This is what I have on hand, so I'm going to use this. But it basically just has, you know, all kinds of seasonings, from garlic powder, onion powder, paprika. It's got a little bit of sugar, some smokiness to it. So whatever steak seasoning you have. And I just did about a teaspoon of that, and then I'm going to do a teaspoon of dried parsley. That looks like about a teaspoon. We're going to do a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, a half a teaspoon of onion powder. I have a half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning here, and then I'm going to do a half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. I love the way that this adds smokiness to the chicken. If you have like even chipotle, that would be good, but I love the smoked paprika in this. We're also going to do 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to do 1 whole teaspoon of black pepper. Okay, and that is it for the marinade. So I'm just going to close this up and just kind of mix everything together a little bit, and then we're going to add in our chicken. So for our chicken, I have a combination of boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and then I did have a chicken breast that I cut in half because my daughter does not like dark meat really. On my website, I use drumsticks and chicken thighs. So you can use any kind of chicken that you like. It's really about the marinade, but I did trim a bit of fat off of these chicken thighs just because I didn't want them to be too fatty after they were cooked. You can use skin on if you wanted to for more flavor. Those will just take a little bit longer to cook, and you might even want to make up a little more marinade so that it coats those bigger pieces of chicken. So everything goes into the bag here, and we're just going to seal this off. And we definitely want this to marinate for at least 30 minutes, but if you can give it a good couple hours or even overnight, that's even better. I'm going to be cooking these off this afternoon, so they'll be able to sit in the refrigerator for a good amount of time. And if I think about it and I'm in the fridge, I'll give it a good little shake while I'm there. But other than that, it'll be perfect and ready to go for you. All right, so I'm going to place this in the refrigerator, and I will see you at the grill in just a little bit. Okay, our chicken has marinated and we are outside. It is so beautiful out here. Like, I'm sure it's probably 80 degrees by now, so it's super hot over here. I even have shorts on today in May. It's super exciting. Okay, so I'm just going to add my chicken thighs and the couple of little breast meat that I have to my grill here. And I am not like the grill artist or anything. I just cook the meat until it's done and it looks pretty, and that's pretty much it. So obviously you want your chicken to be cooked through at 165. You can also do like an indoor grill if you have one of those, or you can put these in the oven and bake them at 375 for 35 to 40 minutes or until they're cooked through. So if you don't have a grill, don't worry. You will still get to enjoy this chicken. There is nothing better than grilled vegetables and meat. It's just my favorite time of year. So I have the heat set at like medium. I'm going to close the lid and I'm going to check on these in about 8 minutes. All right, so it's been about 8 minutes. And I feel like I have a mouthful of chips. My daughter made some cowboy caviar and it is delicious, and I've been snacking on that. Okay, so let's check it out here. Oh, that looks perfect. Love seeing the char marks. We'll probably have to pull off our chicken breasts a little bit earlier, but because the chicken thighs are pretty small, I think that we'll be fine. All right, I'm going to let these go another 8 minutes and then we'll check on them. All right, I just cut myself up one of the chicken thighs, and then I just added a little bit of the fresh lemon juice over the top. And it's so tender and perfectly cooked. That marinade is the best. You could use it on any kind of meat, pork chops, steak. You could marinate it with some shrimp. It's super versatile. Definitely has a little bit of citrusy flavor, but all those spices that we added in there and that touch of smokiness from the paprika, I just love it so much. It's my favorite marinade, and I appreciate that it's such an easy marinade ingredients, like things I have in my pantry, things I have in my seasoning cabinet. Delicious chicken, such a great way to start off the weekend with it being so beautiful. I love to be outside grilling, and this chicken is just happy summer. So for our Mediterranean quinoa salad, we got to start by cooking our quinoa. And I have just taken 1 cup of this tri-colored quinoa. You can buy just the regular, like brown colored. That works fine too, but I thought this would be really pretty. And I've rinsed it under cold water. That just kind of helps get off some of the extra dusting that's on the quinoa. Quinoa, if you've never had it before, it's a grain, and it's got a ton of protein. I love the texture, and it's really fun in salads with lots of veggies. So I'm going to add in 2 cups of water and chicken stock here. I've added 2 cups of water and 1 teaspoon of better than bouillon, just to like infuse some flavor into the quinoa. I'm going to transfer this over to the stove, and we're going to bring it to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, I'm going to turn the heat down until it just is like simmering, and then cook it for 15 minutes or until all the water has absorbed. And then I'll pop the lid on and we'll let it set for 5 minutes before we fluff it. All right, while the quinoa is cooking over there on the stove, I'm going to get some of my ingredients prepared. So we're going to start with this yellow bell pepper, and I'm just going to cut this into, kind of little bite-sized dices. You can definitely use a red pepper, green pepper, and then I also have 1 pint of grape tomatoes. I'm going to quarter these. I'm going to dice up half of this English cucumber, and then I have some red onion scraps from my daughter. She actually made some cowboy caviar, and this is what was left, but this is fine because I'm not super big on heavy red onion flavor. So this will be perfect. I only need about a 1/4 cup. And then I like to buy these marinated olives at the grocery store. You can find these in the refrigerated section, and they're already pitted, but they are so delicious. So I'm probably only going to use half of this container, and I'm just going to slice them in half. So I'm going to get these prepared, and then we can move on to making our dressing. As you can see, we've got a lot of really good things going on here. So we're gonna make our dressing, and as you saw, I just pulled my quinoa off the stove, I put the lid on, and I need to let that set for 5 minutes. And then I'm actually gonna add it to my serving bowl because I want it to kind of cool off a little bit before I add all of these vegetables. So to my little mason jar here, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You can also do avocado oil. I'm also gonna do 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. You can do apple cider vinegar, white wine vinegar, and I also have a whole lemon here I'm going to juice right into this dressing. Hopefully I don't get any seeds in there. This will just really give it some yummy bright flavor. Okay, and then I've got some herbs here. I have a 1/4 cup of chopped up basil and a 1/4 cup of chopped up parsley. And if you don't like basil, you can just add the parsley, but the fresh herbs really just jazz up a salad like this. I just think it's so summery to have fresh herbs. I can't wait until I've got some herbs out in my garden. Right now I've got a ton of chives. I could probably add some chives to this. That would be really good. But I'm lazy. I don't want to go outside and cut them right now. Okay, so I'm also going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. All right, I just wanted to show you here before I add this to my serving bowl. You can kind of see I've fluffed this up with a fork, and it really, that 1 cup really makes a lot. The little grains kind of pop open, and it's just, these are so tender, like it's just a really tender grain, and it's so yummy, especially when you add the dressing. It really soaks up all those flavors. Now we get to pull this all together. This is cooled enough. I also have 1 can of cannellini beans that I've rinsed and drained. You could also do garbanzo beans, but my family prefers more of kind of like a softer bean. So I'm just gonna get all my veggies in here, the beans, get the dressing on. We're gonna toss this all together, and then we get to taste it. It is supposed to get up to 80 degrees today, and I am so excited. I cannot wait to get outside and do a little bit of gardening maybe this weekend. So this salad is perfect because it's fresh and you don't have to worry about it being at room temperature because there's no mayonnaise, obviously, or anything like that in it to, you know, make it spoil quickly. I did add a little bit of crumbled feta over the top of just my serving because not everyone likes that kind of cheese. And the kind that I like to use, let me show you. I love this tomato basil flavored feta. It is so yummy. It definitely has kind of those Italian notes to it, and it just adds, you know, a little bit of like zip to the salad. You could also do like a Parmesan cheese if you wanted to do that. That would be really good, or no cheese at all. There's so many great textures going on in here with those creamy cannellini beans and the cucumbers, and then that little burst of tomato. I love the olives in here. I mean, if you've watched any of my videos, I love olives. They're like my favorite little snack. I'll just pull out the jar and snack on olives. So the more the better in this salad. This is so tasty and fresh and light. The perfect like spring summer recipe. And there goes the quinoa on the floor. So I better get to eating this. So for our s'mores Rice Krispie treats, we have to start by making the Rice Krispies first. And I'm just following the original Rice Krispie recipe. 3 tablespoons of butter. I've got 40 marshmallows, and we're just gonna melt the butter and add the marshmallows, cook everything down until it's melted, and then pour in the Rice Krispies. So really simple. And then there's just a few more ingredients to turn this into kind of a s'mores type Rice Krispie treat. I think it's such a great way to kick off summer or have as a summer treat, because when I think of s'mores, I don't know about you, to me that is summer. So once our butter is melted, I'll add in the marshmallows and we can get those melted. Now that our marshmallows have completely melted, I turned off the heat, and we're gonna add in 6 cups of Rice Krispies. And this is why it's nice to have a large pan like this with high sides, so that you can just add the Rice Krispies right to the pan and you don't have to dirty another bowl. Because I will probably rinse the Rice Krispie bowl because it's really not dirty, right? Do you ever do that? I mean, give me a spoon. I'd be happy to eat it right out of the pan like this. It smells so buttery and yummy. Okay, that looks perfect. So let's move over to our pan here. All right, I have buttered this 9 by 13 inch baking dish just to make sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom and they easily come out. This is super sticky to work with. So I'm gonna get some butter on my spatula here. So just spread it out as evenly as possible. I'm gonna let this cool a few minutes, and then we're gonna top it with our s'mores toppings. I'm gonna take my little spatula knife here. I've sprayed it with non-stick cooking spray to make sure that it doesn't stick when I'm spreading the jet puffed marshmallow cream. So this is what we're talking about. I'm gonna use probably this entire container, and I'm gonna spread an even layer over the top and then slice it into squares before we add our toppings. So you can see it comes out almost like frosting in a way. As you can see, it's kind of sticky. And then I'll just spread this out into a nice thin layer. Cover the top as best I can. That looks perfect. Okay, so now while it's still good and sticky, let's go ahead and slice this. I'm actually gonna do pretty small squares so that this goes a long ways. I wanna be able to serve a lot of people. Okay, now that we have these into slices, it'll just make it so much easier knowing kind of where we've sliced it. I've got 5 sheets of graham cracker crumbs, and I kind of left some of them into bigger pieces. I'll sprinkle it right over the top. Just that little bit of graham cracker. You still want to be able to see some of that marshmallow fluff. We're going to add a cup of chopped up Hershey's. And then what I like to do is I'm just going to take my fingers and just kind of gently press down, and that will make sure that the chocolate and the graham crackers adhere to that marshmallow fluff. Okay, I'm going to plate one of these guys up and we're going to taste them. Okay, how fun are these little s'mores Rice Krispies? Doesn't that look so good? Like that drippy marshmallow fluff. Oh my gosh. And these are super messy, which I think for summertime, you know, kids with sticky fingers and stained from popsicles, and that's what's so much fun about these kinds of things. Okay, we're going in. It's gonna be messy. Okay, nothing compares to homemade Rice Krispie treats. They're softer, they're chewier. Obviously, they're best the fresh day. They're best the first day that you make them, but that s'mores version with the marshmallow fluff and the little chunks of chocolate and the graham crackers, like the texture of this is amazing. I'm telling you, these are gonna go so fast at your next summer gathering, or if you make these for Memorial Day, they're like, it's like falling apart. They're still kind of warm in the center. So, so good. All right, to start off our cucumber potato salad with creamy dill dressing, I've got a pot of cold water here, and I'm just gonna add a bag of these baby yellow potatoes. So I love using these because I don't even have to peel them, and I'm actually not gonna slice them in half either. Let me get these in here. So my mom's like famous potato salad, she really believes that you should put the potatoes in whole, leave them in their skins, she calls it their jackets, and then peel them when you want to make the potato salad. But we're not going to even peel these potatoes. But the texture of the potato on the inside comes out a lot more fluffy than if I cut these in half and boil them in the water. So, you know, either way will be totally fine, but I'm going to do it this way, and then we'll cut them in half once these are cooked. All right, while our potatoes are cooking, I'm going to make a really simple dill dressing. So we're going to start with a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. I'm gonna eyeball this because I've made this recipe quite a few times. And then we have a 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt. This just gives it a nice tang. Because there's fresh dill in this, the Greek yogurt really takes the flavor up a notch, I feel like. And then we have a 1/4 cup of white vinegar. This is white wine vinegar. We're also gonna add in 1 tablespoon of sugar. This will balance out some of that vinegar flavor. Then we have 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and then I have a whole bunch of fresh dill here. I'm going to chop this up, and it will equal about a 1/4 cup. All right, and then we just whisk everything together until it's nice and creamy. I can already smell that fresh dill. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to get some of our veggies chopped. Okay, and then I have a 1/4 of a red onion here. I'm going to slice this into really thin slices. And then I also have a 1/2 of an English cucumber. I'm going to slice these into little half-moon shapes. So I'm going to get these 2 things diced up, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, I don't feel like that's enough cucumber, so I'm going to add just a little bit more of this other half here. The combination of the cucumber and the potato and that cool dill dressing is the best combination. I had a salad like this. It was very similar when we were camping one year with friends. Actually, I'm going to get this washed real quick. We were camping, and I think my best friend made like a really yummy beer can chicken or something like that. And then one of our other friends, Lynette, she made this cucumber potato salad with onions and a really yummy dressing. And that chicken with that cucumber potato salad, oh my gosh. So This would be really good with even my grilled chicken that we just made. It's just so fun and unique and different from your traditional egg potato salad. That looks like enough cucumbers. So now we are just waiting for our potatoes to cook. Okay, so once your potatoes have had a chance to cool just a little bit, I mean, these are still pretty warm, but I think I can get them cut in half. But you definitely want to make sure the inside is cooled enough so that it doesn't soften the cucumbers. So I'm gonna get these cut in half so that we can get the insides cooled off a little bit. I'll just add them to this big bowl here because that's what I'm gonna serve, or that's what I'm gonna toss everything in. So I'm gonna get all of these potatoes cut in half, and then hopefully they'll be cool enough and we can pull this together. All right, our potatoes have cooled, and that really only took about 10 minutes, so not too much waiting on that. So we're gonna add in our cucumbers. Oh, we missed one. I'll eat that one. We're gonna add in our onions, and then all of this delicious dill dressing. And I know it kind of looks like a lot of dressing, but you know how potatoes are. They really absorb any kind of liquid. And I'm just gonna gently fold together all these ingredients. You wanna be careful not to really mash the potatoes, but already, oh my gosh, this just looks and smells so yummy. And you can eat this right away, but I would recommend putting it in the refrigerator for like an hour, just to allow the dressing to soak into the potatoes and cool it off a little bit so it's more like a colder potato salad. But like I said, it's delicious just like this. Okay, and I'm gonna give this a taste just to make sure we don't need any more salt or pepper. Oh my gosh, the best. Okay, but I am gonna add a little bit more salt. Just a scotch, and I think I'm gonna even do more pepper. Shocker. All right, so we'll give this a toss. And we'll put this in the fridge for about an hour, and then we get to taste this. I just think that this is such a pretty salad and so fresh. It feels a little bit lighter than your traditional egg potato salad. I think because the dressing isn't really heavy on the mayonnaise, and you've got that fresh dill in there too, which is kind of a bright, summery type of herb, I feel like. I mean, next to my mom's potato salad, which is the #1 best potato salad in the world, which I will share that soon, I promise. This is probably #2 or #3. It's unique, it's really simple to make. It goes great with just about anything. It's an awesome summer potato salad to share at any kind of event. Everyone will love it, and they'll love kind of the different twist on a potato salad. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video and found some inspiration for your summer recipes. Make sure to check out the descriptions. I've got all of the recipe links there. And if you're new here, I'd love for you to be part of my YouTube family, so make sure to subscribe. I hope you have a really blessed week, and we will see you next time.